welcome to IILM University. I'm Nidhi Razdan, the Director of the School of Communication, and this is our brand new Media Lab. We're happy to have with us Dr. S.Y. Quraishi, the Chancellor Emeritus of IILM, also the former Chief Election Commissioner of India, to join us as our very first guest in this state-of-the-art studio. Dr. Quraishi, welcome to IILM once again, and thank you very much for inaugurating this new studio for us.
It's such a pleasure. It's a delightful studio that you have created.
You have been associated with IILM for so many years. You are its founder, Chancellor, and now you are the Chancellor Emeritus of IILM University. And of course, as Chief Election Commissioner, you've had such a big role to play in the way India conducts elections. I'll come to that in a bit, but I just wanted to understand your own thoughts on your experience in the education sector. Did you learn something new by being with IILM?
Yes, of course, during the civil service career of mine, particularly when I was Deputy Commissioner of Gurugram 40 years ago, I had to see the situation at the grassroots level, and I will, if you'll give me time, I'll mention a few things about that. But I found currently that the demand for quality education has increased. People's willingness to pay for good education, that has increased, which is why instead of the normal colleges and universities, people are happy to go to private colleges, pay generous fees there. So, and the kind of flexibility which is available now was not there earlier. Everything was fixed by the UGC. You could not change one word in the syllabus. You could not change any papers, and so all that has changed. It's now history, and that flexibility, I'm sure, will pay us dividends in the long run.
But at the moment, what are the three things that you would advise that need changing, particularly in higher education in the country? The three things that you think need an overhaul?
Yeah, my concern would be that the formal skilled education is still, we are lagging in it. I was doing a study and I found that India, 25 top CEOs of American companies are Indians, thanks to IITs and IIM. So these professional institutions that we created have paid dividends. At the same time, less than 5% of our population is considered formally skilled. And if you compare it with UK, Japan, the 20%, 30%, 40%. South Korea has 96% formally skilled people. We are less than 5. With less than 5, we have almost captured the world. Imagine if we were 10% formally skilled. Imagine if we were 15 or 20. So we will rule the world and the century will belong to us. So we have to see how we can improve quality education. The way the engineering colleges mushroomed. But we have seen in the last few years, many of them have closed down. Ultimately, it is the quality which matters, and we have to invest more on quality, and there is no stopping us then.
But it's also true even today that the brightest minds, young minds, are leaving the country to study for their higher education. Part of the problem, would you agree, is the fact that we have such an emphasis on marks in school, board exams, rather than, holistic overall development. Often students, and I say this from experience, who are not 90%ers, have gone on to do very well in life, and yet admission into colleges depends entirely on those marks.
Yes, correct. In fact, you have really flagged this issue that 99%. I saw one friend of mine, he came to office with a sad face, and we asked him what happened. He said his daughter had got very low marks and we were expecting higher. I said, what was the percentage you were expecting and what did she get? She got 97%, she was expecting 99.
Yeah.
Now, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How can somebody get 100% in English literature, for instance, or any literature for that matter? Mathematics one can understand, but 100% in other subjects, it has really taken away the power of thinking. And then giving those 4 options, choose one of the 3 options. So unless the students are made to write and express their thought, the quality will suffer. We are creating a robot. The way the education system currently is, we need to have a relook at it.
You know what you mentioned about how things have changed, certainly from your time, even from my time in college. Today, I see, for example, even at IILM, there are courses which never used to be offered before. We are now at IILM going to start a 4-year undergraduate degree, very much like the American system, where you have you study a wide variety of subjects and go on to specialize, in whatever you choose ultimately. And that, I think, is a refreshing approach to education or higher education, isn't it? Where you're trying to, you might be doing management, but you will also do communication, you will also maybe do psychology. And I think it's a more overall development of a person, which I think would also help them in their careers, wouldn't it?
Correct. And if you take it to the school level, before coming to the university, I think there are 2-3 things which every student, whatever be the subject, should be taught. We should focus on English language skills. Whatever they might say, the mother tongue and Hindi and all that, they don't get a job. And the fact that people are running to foreign universities, because not so much for the quality of education there, but because the job doors will open on them, because if they have a foreign degree. So therefore, English language, general knowledge, personality development, communication skills, whatever be the subject, you have to communicate. So all these are essentials, and they should be taught to every student in the school and college and universities, to make them, completely competent to deal with the world.
Because as you said, everyone looks at education in India today from the prism of getting a job, which is obviously important. And my worry is that they're not seeing the benefits yet of expanding their knowledge as well, because that also ultimately helps in your personality development and therefore your career goals also. If you could give some advice to young people on that don't just focus on what the salary structure will be when you leave college. Focus on something that will develop you and therefore get you better career options too.
Yes, correct. In fact, the government has been encouraging self-employment. Actually, not now. I remember when I was working with Chaudhry Devilal 40 years or 35 years ago, he started a scheme. Instead of seeking employment, become an employer. That is the kind of slogan he said. And a scheme he came up with that if you can find one more person, you become a group, and the government loans were available. So enterprise is something. Startups, that has become a fashionable term these days, we need to focus on. And we have found that many dropouts, Bill Gates, for instance, that could not finish college. He can still not finish any college or any course, but he became such a successful man because he was allowed to use his inherent inborn talent to come up with creative ideas.
So when you look back on your own career as a bureaucrat, and you've had such a distinguished career as the former Chief Election Commissioner, as you said, you worked on the ground here, even in Gurugram, where we are right now, so many decades ago. What have you found most rewarding about your own career?
Yeah, look, first of all, every IAS officer remembers his days or her days as a collector. I was collector of Gurugram, and I still remember the wonderful thing which I learned, particularly in the field of education. When I came here, Mewat district was part of Gurugram district, and the literacy rate was less than 10%. Imagine just 40 kilometers from the national capital, we had the 10% literacy, and female literacy was 3-4%. And when I asked the question, I was told that in Mewat area, that's the 2 reasons. The leaders don't want the people to be educated, and there is a Tablighi Jamaat, the Islamic preaching organization, which comes here and tells people to send their children to masjid, madrasa rather than the schools. Everybody said that. So one lesson which I got was that do not believe if you hear something from 10 people unless you verify for yourself. I confronted the leaders. I said, why do you keep them illiterate? He says, who told you that? Who said that? And how can, they're our people, therefore they denied, and I believed them. Then secondly, even the Tablighi Jamaat, all that they were doing, they were saying, you go to school, you do what you like, but please every Friday, every Thursday, come to madrasa, masjid, and also become a good Muslim. So there was no contradiction. I organized a meeting of panchayats. That was my style which I developed. Entire block, 136 panchayats, and you talk to sarpanchas for 2 hours. You get to know what they feel. It's a large area and feedback in 1 hour, 2 hours, and you tell them what to do. When I asked them, why don't you send your children immediately to schools? So they gave me lessons of my life. They say, school? Which school? Where is the school? That kikar tree in front of us where some children are sitting under it. So the ball came to my court. There was no building. Then another person got up. He said, where are the teachers? He says, in my village, there are 176 students, only one teacher. He cannot control them. And so it is better that we deal with them ourselves. Ball came back to my court a second time. Who will give them teachers? The government. Third one came up with something that there is no Urdu teaching. At least there I had an answer. I said there is a policy that if there are 10 students wanting to learn even Tamil, Telugu, not to talk of Urdu, a teacher will be provided. So first send the student, then we'll give you the teacher. And so that is why we immediately changed our policy, and we had a campaign. 40% increase in enrollment in just 1 month. The same people whom we were condemning as not wanting to educate their children, they came forward with a big number. It's actually a longer story. How then 100 teachers, I have sent a proposal to the chief secretary. He was making fun. Oh, Quraishi, he went village to village, and where is the money? So I went to talk to the chief secretary. I said, he said, sorry sir, this is what I heard, but constitution said that in 10 years there should be universal elementary education. You were the collector in the 50s and you did not do it. So if I'm doing it in the 80s, instead of blaming me, you should support me. He was a great man. He said, Quraishi, I'm so sorry. I said that I'll give you all 100 teachers which you have demanded, and he gave me all 100 teachers which I wanted. I said, on behalf of the government, I'm the agent of the government, I have promised to the villagers. They have...
But your story also shows the power that, bureaucracy, governments have. If they want to bring about positive change, you can do that.
Absolutely, absolutely, exactly, because there is so much of power. We keep on blaming politicians that they don't allow it to function. That's not true. 90% there is no clash. There is so much to do. Only the thing is your priority. I picked up education as my priority. And there are so many things. There could be a whole 2-hour program on that. Maybe at some stage, why not? But that was the learning I took, because if you talk, the program should be evolved from bottom up. If you just thrust them from the top, it doesn't work. You have to find out from them what are their issues, what are their problems.
Listen to them.
Yeah, listen to them. And then the policies will be more realistic.
Well, Dr. Quraishi, thank you so much for joining us on our inaugural conversation in the studio here. We look forward to having many more conversations with you about education and also about elections, which is a passion that I know you have and I have personally. Thank you very much for inaugurating our brand new media lab.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.